All right, team. Today, we're going to dive into a skill that, let's be honest, is quickly becoming a non-negotiable part of our jobs, using generative AI. We're going to move past the hype and really look at how we can turn this into a powerful engine for real business productivity.
At its core, this whole thing is about a huge shift in where we focus our energy. For years, we've all spent countless hours on the low-value, sometimes mind-numbing work of creating first drafts from a blank page. The real opportunity now is to let AI handle that initial grunt work, which frees us up for the high-value stuff only we can do, refining, strategizing, and applying our critical judgment.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the why this is a new strategic imperative. Then, we'll give you a unified framework that you can use every single day. We'll look at some core techniques in action, talk about how to use these tools securely, and then we'll map out your path to becoming truly proficient.
Okay, so let's jump right in with that strategic imperative. This is not about chasing the latest shiny tech trend. It's about fundamentally changing our role in the creative process. It's about shifting our focus from being the drafter to becoming the expert refiner.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Crafting effective prompts isn't some niche skill for the IT department anymore. It's becoming as fundamental to our jobs as writing a clear email or building a spreadsheet. It is a universal business competency, plain and simple.
So our goal here is to elevate AI from being just a simple tool that answers questions into a true strategic collaborator. When we get this right, we can accelerate everything from creating documents and analyzing data to crafting those really critical communications.
Now, to do this effectively, we can't just rely on random, hit-or-miss prompting. We need a standardized approach. And that's why we're introducing a simple, unified framework that works no matter what platform you're using, whether it's Microsoft Copilot or Google Gemini.
The key to unlocking consistent, high-impact results is this simple but really powerful model: task, context, and persona, or just TCP. If you remember one thing from today, make it this. This is your universal toolkit.
First up is task. This is your goal, your command. It's the specific action you want the AI to perform. You want to be super clear and use an action verb. Are you asking it to draft something? To summarize a long document? To analyze a set of data? No room for ambiguity here.
Next is context. And let me tell you, this is without a doubt the most critical part of any effective prompt. This is the absolute game changer. By grounding the AI in specific data, pointing it to a document, an email thread, a spreadsheet, you transform it from a generic public assistant into a context-aware copilot that actually understands your project.
And the final element is persona. This is where you define the voice, the format, and the role. Should the response be formal and serious, or motivational and friendly? Should it be in bullet points, or a polished executive summary? This part makes sure the output isn't just accurate, but it's perfectly suited for its intended audience.
Okay, so we have the TCP framework. Now, let's shift from theory to practice. Let's see how we can actually apply this to get some really high-impact results in our day-to-day work.
The single most effective technique, and it ties directly to the context in our TCP model, is called grounding. A generic prompt is just going to force you to do all the hard work later. But a well-grounded prompt, that can deliver an actionable draft that is already 80% of the way there.
I mean, just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On the left, write a project update. What are you even going to get back from that? But on the right, the grounded prompt specifies the task, draft an update, the persona for the executive team, and the context using the Q3 project deep dive document. The result is a targeted, actionable draft that can save you hours of work.
The second key technique is to remember that prompting is a conversation, not just a one-time command. The AI's first answer? Think of it as just a starting point. The real magic happens when you use follow-up instructions to refine and steer the AI toward that perfect final product.
So instead of manually editing that first draft, you just reply with simple instructions. Use prompts like, "Great start, now add a section on the budget." Or, "That's a bit too formal, change the tone to be more motivational." This back-and-forth process is so much faster, and it lets the AI do all the heavy lifting of rewriting and reformatting.
Now, with all this power, we absolutely have to talk about responsibility. Using these tools securely and ethically isn't just a nice-to-have, it is a non-negotiable part of our strategy.
So here are the core principles I want everyone to remember. First, these tools are not a security workaround. They respect all existing data permissions you already have. Second, your prompts and our company data stay secure right here within our enterprise environment. And critically, our internal data is never ever used to train public AI models.
This is such a critical mindset for all of us to adopt. An AI delivers a draft, not a final product. You, the employee, you are always the final checkpoint, and you remain fully accountable for the accuracy and quality of your work.
And what that means is you must always apply your unique business expertise to fact-check, to validate, and to refine anything the AI produces before it gets shared or acted upon. The technology is an amazing assistant, but your judgment is the authority.
So, how do we put all of this into practice? Let's map out a clear, simple path for you to become proficient, starting today.
Here's a simple 3-step plan. First, start small. Identify 3 regular, low-value tasks you do and just commit to using AI for them for 1 month. Second, practice daily. Apply that TCP model to build muscle memory. And third, share your successes. When you craft a great prompt that works, share it with your team so we can all learn faster, together.
And we're going to want to see the impact. We'll be looking for tangible benefits, like self-reported time savings. When you can say you're saving 2 hours a week on first drafts alone, that's a real business impact we want to capture and celebrate.
So, let's quickly recap the key takeaways. Remember the big idea? We're shifting from drafting to refining. Your go-to tool is the Task Context Persona Framework. Your most powerful techniques are grounding your prompts in specific data and iterating to get it just right. And your core responsibility? You are always accountable for the final product.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. As you walk away today, think about your own week, your recurring tasks, your to-do list. What is the very first task you are going to transform from the slow work of drafting to the high-value work of refining?